Welcome to Guided Practice 6. The purpose of this lesson is to together read a short passage similar to what you might see in MCAS and then answer a couple of reading comprehension questions afterwards. And then hopefully together we can help you better understand how to answer MCAS reading comprehension questions. There's only a couple of questions after this short passage, and there'll be other guided practices that we'll do together. But this is a good place to start. So let's see how we do. Let's get started. Alright, so here's our reading passage. There'll be another paragraph that you'll see on the next slide, but this is the beginning of the reading passage, and it's very similar to what you might see in MCAS. So a couple of things that you want to notice right away are the title. So the title of this reading passage is Emily Guzman. The other thing you want to notice, and there'll be a question on this, so I'm not going to answer it now, is that this first paragraph is in a different font or script than what the following paragraph is in. And there's a reason for that. So let's read this together. Emily Guzman was 18 and just finishing high school when she was invited to join a professional theater company on tour with the musical West Side Story. She put college on hold for a year for the chance to follow her dream of someday singing and dancing on the Broadway stage. Here, Emily talks about her dream and her first big step in realizing it. How did you get this lucky break, Emily? I went to a high school that's known for its musical theater program. At our big show every spring, someone always comes out at intermission and reads off a list of graduates who are currently on stage in New York. So our play gets attention from the pros. Well, this year I played Lois in Kiss Me Kate, and somebody saw me, and, well, I still can't believe I'm here. Alright, our first question, and I believe you've already answered that by now, is what is the main purpose of the italic type under the title? So again, that would be this right here. This is the italicized type underneath the title. And what is the purpose of this italicized type? Is it A, to show that West Side Story is the title of a play? No, I don't think so. Is it C, to emphasize that the interview was conducted in a foreign language? Well, it doesn't look like this interview was done in a foreign language, but our answer is B, to indicate that this paragraph is not part of the interview. If you see, and you should hopefully have noticed that, we have a question, so I'm going to write Q actually, and then we have an answer. So here's the person asking a question, and then here's Emily actually answering the question. So this, up on top where it's italicized, is to show that this is not actually part of the interview. It's actually like an intro or an introduction to this reading passage, which in this case happens to be an interview. Right, so these are little things that you want to pay attention to and be aware of for MCAS. Let's take a look at the rest of this reading passage. Alright, first thing we want to notice here as we continue with the passage is that we have another question from our interviewer, person who wrote the passage, and then we have Emily Guzman's answer as part of the interview. So let's read it together. How is performing professionally different from performing in a school play? Where do I start? In the first place, it's not your parents and friends out there. It's a bunch of strangers who paid a lot of money for tickets and who aren't going to forgive you if you mess up. The directors don't care about your personal life either. So if you're feeling homesick or your boyfriend hasn't called, best keep it to yourself. Another thing, I've played leads or featured roles in just about every school play I've been in since 6th grade. You know how many girls in the chorus here always got the leads in school plays? Every one of them. Alright, our next question, question 2, is asking us about apostrophes. And the apostrophe that they're referring to, or apostrophes they're referring to, is that first one in its, and then the other one in aren't. So our first choice was A, indicate that things belong to Emily. Is that what the purpose of these apostrophes are for? No, these are not possessive apostrophes. Remember, a possessive apostrophe is used to show that someone or something owns or has something. But that's not what these are being used for. Would the answer be C, emphasize how hard professional theater can be? No, we wouldn't use apostrophes for that. Again, apostrophes are only used for two reasons. One, to show possession, and then also to when we're using contractions. So that would also eliminate D to suggest Emily's feelings about what she is saying. Our correct answer for number 2 is B. These are apostrophes that are used to show contractions. In other words, aren't is a contraction for are not, and it's is a contraction for it is. Okay? Hopefully that helps. All right, question 3 asks, let me just find it here. Here we go. Which of the following best explains the use of the exclamation point in the second sentence? So it would be this exclamation point in this sentence. And what's the purpose of that exclamation point? And we use end of sentence punctuation for a reason. And there's 4 different types of sentences, and they use different end of sentence punctuation. So we know in a declarative sentence, a sentence that makes a simple statement, we just use a period. In an interrogative sentence, a sentence that asks a question, we end that sentence with a question mark. An imperative sentence could end with either an exclamation point or a period. And again, an imperative sentence is a sentence that makes a command or tells someone to do something. And then we have this kind of sentence, and that's what's called an exclamatory sentence. And exclamatory sentences express strong emotion, and we always use an exclamation point for those. So here we have an exclamation point, and the question is, which of the following best explains the use of this exclamation point? Is it A, to highlight Emily's pleasure at being in the show? Is it B, it shows that Emily is answering her own question? C, it indicates that Emily is upset about not having a starring role? Or D, it emphasizes Emily's appreciation for the level of talent in the show? I think if we put this sentence back into the paragraph in which we just read, that what Emily is talking about here is that all the girls that are in the chorus, so they're not even lead parts in plays, they're just in the background in the chorus, that even these girls, right, all got the leads in their own school plays when they were back in high school. So in other words, even the girls that are just kind of secondary parts in this professional theater group are very, very good performers, right? That they were the best performers and the best singers and actresses and dancers when they were in high school. So what happens is when you become a professional, as Emily has become, everyone's good, right? So that's what she's saying here. You know how many of the girls in the chorus here always got the leads in school plays? Every one of them. You don't make it to the professional ranks if you aren't someone who didn't always get the lead in school plays, right? Professional means you are the best of the best. So the answer to number 3 would be D. Okay, that this exclamation point emphasizes Emily's appreciation for the level of talent in the show. Right? Everyone is talented in this show. Everyone is very, very good. All right? All right, question 4. Let's take a look at that. You may not always see a question like this on MCAS. It won't typically ask you grammar questions, and that's really what this is. But this is still a good thing to know. It'll help you understand some of the questions or what you're reading when you're doing MCAS. So in this sentence, in a musical, you have to sing, dance, and act. And then our question was, which of these best explains the purpose of the commas in this sentence? Because we have 1 and 2 commas in this sentence. Why are they there? Is it A, they separate items in a series? B, they separate parts of a compound sentence? C, they indicate a pause in the interviewer's thoughts? Or D, they show the interviewer's surprise at Emily's talents? Now, it wouldn't be D. There's no surprise in Emily's talents here. I think we already covered that in question number 3. And if someone were surprised at Emily's talents, probably would use an exclamation point to express that. It's also not C. Not really a hard pause here. Right? That's often when we use commas. In this case, no, that's not exactly why we're using the commas. B, they separate parts of a compound sentence. There's no compound sentence here because we only have 1 subject, and that's musical, although we do have a couple of predicates, sing, dance, and act. But without 2 separate subject-predicate sets or teams, This is not a compound sentence. Okay, although sometimes a comma is used in front of a conjunction to separate parts of a compound sentence. However, our answer is A. The commas are used in this sentence to separate items in a series. What items would that be? Well, it would be the three things that you have to do in a musical. One is sing, two is dance, and three is act. So that's why the commas are being used in this sentence, is they separate three things that are being listed in the sentence that you have to do in order to be in a musical. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully this has been helpful to you today. Thanks.